right, guys, we have Zed Williams, attackman for the Whip Snakes. We'll open up for questions.
What was it like this first weekend being back with the Whip Snakes guys?
It was fun, fun to see everyone. I've been with these guys for a while now, and I really enjoy being around all of them, so it was just fun playing field lacrosse again.
Hey, Zed, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Welcome back. Congratulations. Like you said, you've been with this Whip Snakes team for a while now, and you guys always seem to have these one-goal battles. What's it like, just going toe-to-toe with this team, always knowing that these games end up being pretty close down to the wire?
Yeah, I mean, it's lacrosse, They're both good lacrosse teams. It's going to be a battle, every game. But, there's little plays here or there that make or break the game. And, Kyle Bernlohr had some awesome saves at the end that really, made us win.
Is that one of those plays along the way in transition when you guys are substituting, Earhart's kind of hanging around and his guys looking to follow him? You and Jay are able to play those two-man games that were kind of like the engine behind that fourth quarter comeback in the 2020 championship. What do you see when you and Jay are out on that wing with so much space there?
Oh, Jay's awesome to work with. He's such a smart lacrosse player. He studies film so much, and we just communicate. We communicate what we see, tendencies on the defenders, how they play the pick games. So we just try to go out and practice and talk about it beforehand and just try to go out and execute.
Take one more question for Zed. Thanks, Zed.
Good. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Zed.
Take care.
All right, guys, we have Matt Dunn, defenseman for the Whip Snakes. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Matt, Joe Keegan. Little scuffle at the end of that first half there. Whether it's Bryce Young with maybe this specific team, Tim Muller a couple weeks ago. Some of your line mates seem to just be able to get under attackman's skin. What do they do that makes it so frustrating for opponents?
Yeah, well, I didn't see the scuffle start. I kind of turned around and what's going on. But I know historically they've had little beefs with the Redwoods and some other teams. I think it's just the way they play. They're not dirty players, but just like to be physical. And some guys, if you get under their skin a little, play the mental game, it takes them out of what they're ultimately trying to do, which is just play good, smart lacrosse.
Hey, Matt, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Obviously, last year seemed like a little bit of a down year for you guys as a unit, and coach has talked about it over the past couple of weeks where you guys are banged up towards the end of the season. To have you guys fully healthy now, or at least it looks that way through 4 weeks of the season, having Kyle playing the way that he is behind you, how much fun is it, have you guys out there playing as a cohesive unit again?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It definitely feels a lot better. It's no secret that we struggled a little in the defensive end last year. I think additions of guys like Ty Warner back, if you look at 2020, we had Ty Warner won Defensive Midi of the Year, and then we lost him. Having a guy like Brendan Kamish come in, a rookie Defensive Midi who's playing great. Those are big additions for us. And then having a couple guys on our end that were banged up, I don't think we did Kyle any favors last year. So I think now we're helping Kyle see the shots he wants to see, and he's making those saves. So it definitely feels good. We're only 4 games in, but it feels good so far.
Rambo mentioned that Stags yelled in the locker room at halftime. What was the message there?
The message there was we weren't playing good lacrosse. If you look at it objectively, we made stupid decisions with the ball. We turned it over clearing. On offense, we weren't getting great possessions. We fell asleep off ball a couple of times defensively, and it was still a 1-goal game. So I think the message there was, hey, if we actually executed and played good lacrosse, we could, step away and not have to play such a close game. So it wasn't really a reflection of the score he was so angry about. It was more the way we were playing. We weren't doing the things, or having the discipline to do the things that we were planning to do.
We'll take one more question for Matt.
How you doing,
Hey, Matt. All right, so Matt, this is Tommy Birch. I'm with Nuke Solutions. I just wanted to know, you guys came into a close game coming into the fourth quarter. You guys rallied in, held them down, even after a close game. What was the mentality going in?
The mentality was just, to bear down and focus in those next plays. We definitely gave up some mental lapses. But just to make the next play and, have guys like Ty Warner pick up big round balls, to have Kyle make big saves, like those are the plays you need to make in close games like that. And so we had our players step up and make those plays. So just not to let the pass really bog us down and just to step up and make each play when it came to that time.
How you doing, man? This is Kendall Hill from Fan Sports. Did you feel after the scuffle? Did you feel the game get chippier more than normal?
Yeah, the game definitely got a little chippy. It has historically with the Redwoods and us. We've played them so many times that they're always close games. So it's not unexpected. It's just they have competitive guys, we have competitive guys, and the refs will let some things go. So you kind of have to play physical. If you don't, you'll see some of those guys. If you don't check hard and take body, those guys they'll catch the ball inside and handle it. So it's either you let them score or you kind of err on the side of being a little more physical.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Keeks.
All right, guys, we have Jim Sagnita, head coach of the Whip Snakes. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Coach Stacks, Joe Keegan here. Matt Rambo said on the broadcast that you yelled at the guys in the locker room at halftime. What was the message to them?
I was pissed. Message was loud, right? I was disappointed with the lack of discipline. I was disappointed with the chatter in the huddles. I was disappointed in our effort overall. But again, it goes back to something that we need to get better at, and that's being disciplined. And it's rare that that's what halftime looks like, but it's certainly what we needed at this point, and everybody needed to understand that. Bottom line is, I don't really care what they have to say if they're not doing their jobs, and we needed to do our jobs, and we did a little bit better of a job of it in the second half. Look, and I will take this win, and we find a way to scrape our way out of these, and we find a way to win it, but we just as easily could have found a way to lose this one.
Hey, Coach, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. That had Zed Williams back, not only, in the huddle and as a leader on this team, but have his presence out there on the field. What was it like having him back, during the week and then obviously in this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's nice to have Zed back. There's no question, right? He brings a presence out there. He brings, he brings a skill set that the other team has to pay attention to. Certainly, this team has two big, strong defenders who really are physical and did a really nice job against our two big bodies. But I think you also noticed today, Zed just got off of an indoor championship and a long season, and it's a different game. And he's only going to get better, and he's only going to make us better. But not the usual that you expect from Zed. But again, sometimes just having him out there in the attention that the opponent has to pay to him is enough.
Hey, Coach, this is Tommy Birch with Youth Solutions. After the halftime talk, rally back 6 points. What was the mentality shift that you noticed throughout the guys?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry, you're breaking up. The last part.
My bad. After that halftime talk, rally back 6 goals. What did you notice with the players and their mentality shift?
Well, what we did was we just started to execute the things we talked about. In the first half, we would, we'd talk about something in the huddle, and we'd go out on the field and we wouldn't execute it, or we'd call something out and would do something else. In the second half, we were able on a number of possessions to actually execute and set the picks and do the things that that we had talked about doing. And when we did it, that helped us. During certainly spurred on that run. We got away from it for a little bit again, and then we got back to it. But we were having success in the pick game and in the big little, and that's what I wanted to go with. And when we did it, we did a really good job with it.
Coach, can you speak on how well you can, throughout the game, there's a lot of physicality. You guys converted on a number of EMOs. Just how important was it to use that experience that we've talked about to maintain composure and the physicality that's...
Yeah, look, it's always a physical game, right? And it was physical both ways. I wasn't happy that they took a minute and we took 2. Again, that's a discipline piece on our part. We did make it. We did fight through that one. We've been really good on EMO this year, and I think our percentage, as far as I'm concerned, we've been pretty efficient. And early in the game, honestly, that's about all we were getting offensively. So it was important. It kept us in the game early. We were able to cash in on those. And again, it's something that that you practice and you have to go out there and execute it. And it just goes to show when we execute the things the way we're supposed to execute them, we're talented enough to be able to cash in on those.
We'll take one last question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach, looking ahead to next week with a matchup with the Water Dogs, you played them just a couple of weeks ago, week 2. What are the keys against that team?
I think, Keegs, we're going to have to go back this week, and we're going to have to focus on ourselves again. We're going to have to focus on our execution. We're going to have to focus on our decision-making, and we just have to be disciplined. We have to be disciplined in every aspect of the game. I give the Redwoods a lot of credit. They chased us all over. They played hard. They pushed out. They found a matchup that they liked, and they exploited it. It was a good game. There's no question about it, and they were certainly part of the reason that we weren't as disciplined as I would like us to be. But there's some things that we have to address in our decision making and in our execution. And again, it's not about necessarily our opponent. It's about us and how we're going about our business right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We have Sergio Perkavic, midfielder for the Redwoods. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Sergio, Joe Keegan. Coach Nat has mentioned that with this offense, with so many dodging threats, it's about identifying whose turn it is and when it's that person's turn. Early in the first half, it was your turn. What did you see to let you know that it was your turn to go? And how does your offense respond when you get those green lights?
Yeah, I think part of the Whipsnakes plan, they played a good game, but they were pressing out on us a lot, and they were slow to slide as well. So they wanted to force us into bad shots, but also at the same time we had to dodge hard. And I ended up having a good matchup, and they were keying in on Jules and Miles, and they got me the ball in some good spots, and I just tried to dodge hard and move the ball or get a shot off. So they were slow to slide, and it was all about trying to beat our matchups, and I think we did a relatively pretty good job at it. And Charlie Bertram also did a great job and had a bunch of unassisted goals because, again, they were slow to slide. They didn't want us moving the ball and getting assisted shots as best as they could. So.
Is that the most assertive you've seen Charlie, and if so, how important is that to your offense?
It's huge, yeah. I mean, he's taken a huge leap from his rookie year, and he's crucial to our offense. He's so versatile. I mean, he's played a lot of attack in the past. He plays indoor, so he's got a really good stick, and he's a big, athletic, strong kid. So he can take it on pretty much anybody, and we need him to have that attitude, the rest of the year. And he's normally pretty aggressive, and he had an awesome game. So if all 4 or 5 of our middies can be doing that, it's really hard to guard, and I think teams will have to kind of scheme against it.
Hey, Sergio, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Coach just brought up, this Whipsnake team is a good, primer for you guys to face the Archers who you get next week. What's kind of the mindset and, some things that you're going to be looking forward to going into that matchup against, a team that's really rolling on offense and presents a really formidable defense just like this Whipsnake team does?
Yeah, and it's tough. We really wanted to win tonight, obviously, and it's tough that we lost on a 1-goal game, but I think we can take a lot of positives from tonight and then also clean up some negatives, like in the middle of the field and clearing. And if we get a couple more of those possessions back, it's a different ball game. So we made some mental errors that I think if we clean up, we can have a really, really good game against a really tough Archers team next week. But all the focus now is on the Archers. Obviously, they have a great offense and they're clicking, and it's going to be another really tight, tough battle. I mean, every team in this league is so good. There's no gimmies, and you really, really have to fight and be on your game to get a win in this league. So we got to get back to the drawing board and just build on what we've done so far.
We'll take one more question for Sergio.
Go ahead, Kendall.
How you doing, Sergio? Kendall Hill, Fan Sports. You guys got a lot of shots on Kyle early. but seemed to held his own. Were you seeing anything different as the game went along, or it just wasn't y'all night tonight?
Thank you, bro. Thank you for the question. But I think Kyle played great and he made a lot of saves. But our game plan was just we were getting good looks and to keep spraying the ball. And I think we started moving him a little bit better. And a lot of the first quarter we were shooting right at his feet, and then we started shooting near side, shooting some high shots. And I think you just have to mix it up on him because he's such a good goalie. And when he gets hot, like in the first quarter, he makes a couple saves. He's really dialed in for the rest of the game. But we kept just putting it on net and kept peppering him, and we got some shots to go, and wish we would have got more to go. We had some great looks too at the end of the game and in the fourth quarter, and he made some good saves. But it's all about just keeping your head up and mixing up your shot selection and where you put it, and then just keep putting shots on net.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sergio.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. With Eddie Glaser, defenseman for the Redwoods. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Eddie, Joe Keegan here. Coach Nat mentioned that you guys did a good job defensively getting back into the hole and forcing them to beat you 6-on-6. You guys let up a few power play goals. Earhart obviously had the 2 on the broken clear. How would you evaluate once you were able to actually play 6-on-6 the way that your defense played today?
Yeah, I don't have a breakdown, Keegs. I'm sure that's going to be you providing that. But, statistically speaking, I felt like 6-on-6, we played very well. We were very comfortable. We were very prepared. It's just like, these games that get so close, like this one, other games that are going to be close throughout the rest of this season. Like it comes down to really, can we just play 6-on-6 defense and make teams earn goals and not give them away like we did the first 2 weekends? Some of these games just come down to these coin flip scenarios, and they've obviously gotten the better of us. But if we can continue throughout the rest of the season to hustle back on D and force teams to play 6-on-6 against us, it'll just get us in our comfort zone, and that's the way that we want to be playing. And I think that if you break it down, we played very well 6-on-6. We gave up a lot of goals, again, like you said. The 2-pointer, the 1 in transition, and then they had a goal against us, I think, where they had 4 and we had 6 guys. It's unacceptable. But if we can get team 6-on-6, we can win games.
Hey Eddie, it's Kyle Bennett. A couple weeks ago, you and I talked, after the game about the communication for this team and improving upon that. How we've seen that improve. Obviously last week with the win, and then today in a very close matchup. How we've seen the communication skills, across the board for this team improve.
Yeah, I think the way the style of play we want to have defensively is taking the scout to the next level. It's one thing to go through personnel and to identify who's the initiator on offense and simple things like that. Like the way you want to elevate yourself from others is to prepare yourself for sets they're going to run. Where are people sitting on the field? If you see Carlson on the outside, he's probably going to be diving into the inside and someone's going to replace him. And we need to actively be talking through that on the field. And I felt like we did a good job of that, like taking things to the next level and not just going out there and playing, but actually identifying personnel and sets that they're in. And again, to Keegan's point, like if we can get into 6-on-6 defense and be prepared for what teams are going to run based on where personnel are and what sets they're in, we should have no problem. So, losing it should be inexcusable if we're doing everything we can to be playing 6-on-6 defense.
Eddie, you need to put you on the spot.
What's up, Eddie?
Just how frustrating is it to play against a guy like Jay? You got that cost turnover on the ride.
Yeah, the ride. I pride myself on making smart decisions, and me trying to run through on the clear was a poor decision, one of the poorest I've had in a while, and Jay made me pay for it. He's a tough matchup every time we play them. It seems like I'm lining up against him. And he does a good job of being very, very mobile on the inside and trying to pull us away from being able to help. And, I'm sure you run back clips where we gave up goals to Rambo or to to other players on the team is part of that stems from a guy like Jay that can pull you away from helping.
What's up, Eddie? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Solutions. You guys had a hard-fought game today on defense, but you guys might have lost the game in penalties. And I was wondering what the mentality is for that and what needs to change for next week.
Yeah, I mean, the league is full of guys that can shoot from anywhere, right? And it's one thing, and it's a difficult thing to stop any team 6-on-6, and then you got to turn around and do it 6-on-5. It adds another element that you don't want to have in the scheme of things, and they made us pay for it both times. And so, yeah, I think, sloppy penalties, can't happen. I think if you have the opportunity to maybe to lay the hit on somebody because it's in the open field or whatever, and you think it might shift momentum, by all means, go ahead and do it. But dumb little penalties like throwing checks on the inside when a guy doesn't have the ball or getting into a shoving match with somebody, we got to be better than that. Because again, like I said, it's not just the Whipsnakes. It's really any team you play. They're going to make you pay.
Looking ahead to next week, the Archers offense, what do they do that are going to be the keys for you to identify and stop?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to get the scout on them this weekend and see how they play. Obviously, last weekend they put up a ton of points. It's always a close one with them. It's always a difficult one with them. I think that what will be different is they have a very strong midfield with an attack that finishes the ball pretty much automatic inside of 10 yards. I know there's going to be good initiation out of guys like Schreiber, and I know that he's looking to hit guys like Manny and Holman who can finish the ball, like I said, inside of close range. So again, it's going to come down to defending, right, and not having to play as much help defense, because when you get sucked in to having to help too much, that's when you start giving up these skip lanes that a guy like Schreiber is going to be picking apart. So we need to get back to fundamentals and 6-on-6 and defending and keeping guys one way, and that'll be the key to the game.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, guys, we have Nat St Laurent, head coach of the Redwoods. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Nat, Joe Keegan.
Hey, Joe.
Last week, the message here was about identifying when, right? When is it this guy's turn? When is it that guy's turn? What's the process in identifying whose turn it is when, and how do you think you guys did identifying that throughout the course of the game as it went from Charlie Bertrand's turn to Jules initiating that offense?
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. It was balanced. We were looking for matchups. We feel that when we put our 6 guys out on the field that were tough to cover, and we had a couple people that we were trying to pick on and a couple people that we were going to attack. And listen, I thought we did a good job. We had 2 point-blank shots to tie it up, and we got to score those.
Hey, Coach, KP. To see, John Sexton back out there for the first time this season, how, exciting was that for you guys as a coaching staff? And then how much did you see him kind of playing into TD being a lot more comfortable with the stripes today?
Yeah, I think it put TD at ease a little bit. It was a battle. We knew that. I don't think it was 50-50. I think they might have got the better of us on a couple loose balls. I think it was 60-40 maybe. But it was good to have him back, just the confidence that we have in him and the continuity that he brings. And it's been a tough season right now trying to get everybody healthy at the same time. And we were, it is what it is, we can't, our guys play hard. We've got injuries. We had 2 in the game go down. So I thought guys did a nice job stepping up, but it was certainly great to have Johnny back.
What's up, Coach? It's Tommy Birch with Nuke Solutions. I just wanted to talk about, you guys had a really hard-fought game down to the very last minute, and there was a lot of positives to this game, and I was wondering what you guys are going to be focusing on this week for the next weekend.
I couldn't quite hear the last part of that. What was that? The last part of that question?
What are you guys going to be focusing on this week for next weekend?
We got to get healthy. We got to take care of our body. We've got to meet with the trainers and attend to some appointments and get healthy. I think that we've got some rookies out there that we put in some spots that we started to get better. We saw some great things out of them, And, we had to ask Nakai to step up and play almost exclusively short stick D midi when Jack Neer was down with an injury. And, we asked a lot of Arden Cohen to cover, a rookie coming in trying to cover, Zed Williams. That's a tall task for anybody. So, we want to go back to the film and see where we had our breakdowns. And, the biggest thing is we just got to focus on taking care of our bodies and, making some plays, in a little bit bigger situation. I mean, that's what it came down to. I don't know what the stats look like, but effort-wise and lacrosse-wise, I thought that it was two teams out there that played extremely hard, and I don't think that they necessarily outplayed us. They just made a couple more plays than we did, and that's the end of the game.
How you doing, coaches? Tim Hill from
How we doing?
Sports. When they went on their 4-goal run in this third, what was the message?
Yeah, we have to take a deep breath. We've been in enough of these games where we go on a run, they go on a run, and the thing I love about our guys is they didn't get flustered. We didn't lose our composure like we did earlier in the season. In game one, the team went on the run in the third quarter, and we kind of unraveled a little bit. I think we hunkered down, played some great defense, and I think our offense is slowly starting to get to our stride. I think Joe Keegs, knows all the numbers, but I felt like we were relatively efficient in the fourth quarter. I wish we were a couple more possessions efficient, but we're clicking, we're getting better, and we have to get better every time we go out on the field, and that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. Proud of our guys with the effort they put out there for sure.
Nat, Tim Troutner's saving 36% of shots so far this season.
Yep.
Is there any thought to going to Jack Kelly, or is it a matter of giving up the shots that Tim wants to see?
Yeah, we know that Jack is great. So we're going to have a conversation. The goalie battle is going to open back up. I know Jack's had successful work with the U.S. Tryouts the last couple weeks and getting ready for sixes. So he's always ready, and that's what it's going to come down to. And I think that might have been one of the biggest differences of the game today, right? I think Kyle had 14 saves, I think, and we gave up some shots that we didn't want to give up, and we hope that we can get a couple of those saves. But it's not on Timmy. We still love him, and we're going to battle it out, and it's something we always consider for sure.
We'll take one more question for Coach.
Did you have one?
Yeah. Now looking ahead to the Archers next week, what unique problems did they present in that matchup?
Oh, man, they just do a great job sharing the ball. Their offense moves with tremendous ball speed, and, they make you pay. They got a great push and transition. So I think playing this team with Earhart, and I think Earhart is, redefined that position, and I think the next person close to him is probably a Jared Connors. And, they've got some poles that can shoot the two and with Ratliff. So I think this game will help us with that piece. We've done a great job, in my opinion, the last 2 weeks getting back on defense and make it a 6-on-6 game. But we're going to have to be very efficient that game because, they're going to get a lot of opportunities, and, their offense is very, it's buzzing, and they share the ball so well, and they're playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. And that's this league, right? You go from one undefeated team to another really good team with no time to really lick your wounds, always forward.
Any timeline on Matt Landis or anything?
Yeah, no. I mean, we know that there's a period of when he's coming up, but I thought our defense played pretty well today. I think, we don't know when that's going to be for Landis, and when he's ready and able, we'll take a long, hard look at it. But at this point, I think we're 5 games in and 4 games in, and the defense is playing pretty well.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We have Jared Newman, defenseman for the Chaos. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Jared, it's Joe Keegan. Blaze has gotten up here after some poor defensive performances in the past and really put the losses on his shoulder. This one, it felt like the game really got out of hand early and between the arcs, right, in transition. What defensively did you see from the Water Dogs offense that gave you guys some problems?
I just think they pushed transition well. I think we had some matchup issues, and Blaze will always put it on his shoulders. But at the end of the day, I think Blaze saw like close to 50 shots in a 48-minute running game. That's unacceptable. So I won't let Blaze take that one. That's something we got to be better at. We got to match up in transition and really just slow the game down to 6-on-6, where I think we're probably our best.
Jared, just how impressed were you by the quick turnaround from these NLL
I mean, those guys are true professionals, right? They take care of their bodies, they work hard, they train hard, right? I don't think most people would turn around in any other sport after a season and take 3 days off and then show up on a flight the next day to go play, an outdoor game compared to the indoor game. So they treat it like true professionals, and I couldn't be happier that they're back. And I'm, love the locker room, love my teammates. So it's really a testament to them.
Hey, Jared, it's KB. This team has been counted out time and time again before. What's kind of the message in the locker room going into next week for Minnesota, playing a Cannon team that's also hungry to, get back in the win column this weekend and going up against you guys? What's kind of, the mojo and the vibe going into that week to go into the All-Star break with that first win of the season in hand?
Yeah, I mean, for us, right, you got to flush it. You got to move on, right? We got to always have a next play mentality. You can't get hung up on the past. So we're going to stick together. We're going to get better. We're going to watch film. We're going to do all the right things to take the next step. And really, we're just going to flush it. We got to move on. We got to, spend a day to review it, find the flaws and just make sure they don't happen again. Like we've preached time and time again, right? The goal is at the end of the season to host the trophy. We want to peak at the right time, right? I'd rather go 0-3, 0-4 and turn it on late and really hit your stride and be playing your best lacrosse towards the end than go 6-0 to start and then flounder, which we've done before. I've been on teams in 2019 that were in first place and got eliminated first round. I've been on teams that have gone 0-4 and gone to the championship. So we want to peak at the right time, and that's our goal.
Take one more question for Jared.
How's it going? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Solutions. And, there's some bright spots to this game. First quarter started off rough, but after that, you guys started to, get the rust off with the NLL guys. Defense started to put it together. Offense started making their shots. What do you think you can take out of this game to bring to next week against the Cannons?
Right. I think it's just building blocks, right? I think we got to continue to push transition, continue to face off well. I think we got to, play a little better between the lines for us. But offense is going to click. Defense is going to, continuously to get better. I don't think there's any major fixes. I just, tonight wasn't our night. It's that simple. Got to make the next play and got to move on. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we have Dane Smith, midfielder with the Chaos. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Dane, it's Joe Keegan. Offensively, with all of you guys back in the lineup for the first time this season together, what were some of the challenges to meshing and finding the shots that you want as an offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Obviously, like the coach said, it was pretty much like training camp out there, getting our feet wet. Yeah, we played a full indoor season, and a lot of us have, and it's tough to kind of get in a rhythm. I feel lacrosse a lot different. The speed's different, and obviously the slide packages are different. So I know we're going to click at some point, but it's going to take time. And we had glimpses of looking really good out there, and sometimes we were forcing a little bit too much. And it's just going to build chemistry, and we've played with each other and against each other for so long. It's not going to take too long. But that being said, we're 0-4 right now, and we need to kind of pick it up.
Dane, you and Josh posted about it pregame, but just about the loss with the Bandits, just how tough was it, not only physically but mentally, to get over that season and start each other?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It's one of those things where as you get older, you understand the game's kind of fading away, and it was a tough week for myself, especially mentally and physically, obviously. And it was one of those things where I wanted to get out with my teammates with the Chaos and kind of forget about the loss. So it was a good opportunity. Obviously, I'm still a little banged up, but it was nice to kind of battle with the guys again and get connected. It's always obviously going to hurt, and it's one of those things. But again, the best thing to do is play with my teammates. And again, we have a great opportunity here. We started 0-3 last year, and you just got to peak at the right times.
Hey, Dan, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. You've seen what he's done against you and your teams in the indoor game, but playing with Challen Rogers now, what was that experience like tonight, suiting up with him in the same jersey?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I've always wanted to play with him. I've always played against him and been watching him from afar and being like, okay, I'd love to play with this type of guy. He's a triple threat, and he's one of those players that can play all over the field. And he's an exciting player to watch. Once our chemistry builds, it's gonna be fun. They're only gonna be able to pull one of us, and I think we're gonna take advantage of that. Our chemistry was on point sometimes, and sometimes we just misread each other a little bit. But as soon as he kind of gets more confidence as well, he's one of the best players I've ever seen, and I think confidence is going to come with that. He was passing up a lot of shots tonight and trying to one more to somebody. But again, it's going to be kind of a building block for us, and once we get healthier and once we get more connected, we'll be fine.
We'll take one more question for Dan.
Dan, what are the keys offensively to start clicking against the Cannons next week?
Yeah, I think just kind of getting in a rhythm. We didn't really look sharp from the opening draw. I think just our stick work and understanding the difference from obviously indoor and outdoor. It's spacing, a lot of spacing, and the slide packages. But I think we're going to be fine. Again, we were sloppy. I think a little bit of nerves, a little bit of jitters. But again, we believe in this group and all these offensive guys that I've always dreamed to play with, and I've always played against or some guys with. But it's going to be an exciting time. We're looking forward to next weekend already, and I think if we can put this game past us, we're looking forward to the challenge.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, guys. We have Andy Towers, head coach of the Chaos. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, T. Joe Keegan here. You guys got a few power play goals early, and then a few late in the game, late in that fourth quarter. But 6-on-6 for the most part, struggled to create quality shots. What was going well or not going well in settled offensive sets?
Well, I think we got a lot of guys out there that have been playing, box for 9 months, and there's definitely a transition. Going from playing against short sticks to playing against a bunch of long poles. I mean, they're different games. And even though there are definitely similarities, it's going to take us a little while to get connected. And I'm really proud of our guys for continuing to play all the way down to the end. And, for us to expect that they're going to be in playoff form in day one is unfair to them. And I think it's unrealistic for us coaches to think it's going to get to that point. The reality is we got to start somewhere. We did a good job on extra man. That was great. But we certainly need to watch the film and take the positives, address the negatives, and emotionally, put the frustration of the loss behind us. But I'm really proud of the fact that our guys came out. We got a lot of guys that banged up. They could have easily decided that they needed a week off or 2 weeks off after, 8-9 months and a grueling playoff sequence. And the fact is they didn't. They manned up, they stepped up, they played, and I couldn't be more proud to be aligned with this group of guys. I told them after the game, we want to win the war, right? For us, the war is winning the championship. If we lose a game or two along the way as we start to get connected, I don't care. The important thing is that we get out of this ideally healthy and we get another week for these guys to get accustomed to the field game, which is different than the box game, and build from there. I'm not concerned with one loss. Yeah, it was frustrating, no question about it, but it's still one loss. At the end of the day, I think we got to win 4 of the next 6 games. We do that, we're going to make the playoffs, and if we make the playoffs, we're going to be a problem for people. So let's see where we are in 6 weeks.
Coach Sowers, the indoor overlap has been a little more unique, but how much confidence does kind of the slow starts from past seasons and overcoming that?
It's got nothing to do with it. This is a totally different season, right? People keep talking about, oh, you started 0-3 last year in the bubble. That's got nothing to do with it. It's a totally unique challenge to this locker room. Yeah, we got a lot of the same players, and I couldn't be more confident in their ability to get connected, and that in the end we're going to get better on a week-to-week basis. As I just said, I wouldn't rather be with any other group. I'd rather be 0-4 and lose by 9 goals and have that group of guys in the locker room who are gradually going to get more, gradually get healthier. And as that continues to happen, right, we got 1 week in Minnesota next week. We got to get out there and do the best we can and hopefully get a win against the Cannons. And then we got the All-Star break, a bye week and an All-Star break. And then we come back in week 6 for the second half of the season. I'm really confident once everybody feels healthy and refreshed, which is what they deserve to feel, but they didn't get the opportunity to do that because of, the way the NL season had gone, and, we'll see where we are. So, frankly, I don't look at the last 3 seasons and connect anything to this season.
AT, it's KB. Silver linings in this game. I think, somebody who didn't skip a beat that is back was Chase Frazier. You and I have talked about him a ton since he's joined your roster. Just talk about, his performance tonight and just how seamless he seems to always fit into this offense, no matter who's out there with these guys. He just always seems to be, right at home in the style of offense you guys play.
Yeah, he had some great plays tonight. Listen, the kid is tough as nails. He's a phenomenal athlete. And it was great to have him back, but also great to have Dane back, and also great to have Josh back, and also great to, have Challen with those guys, and Bergie. And, the fact is that, it's a group effort, and we're going to be as good as we can get connected. Again, it's 6-on-6. Chase played it great, in spurts, but it's a group effort. And the success of one guy is the success of all of us. And we got to make sure that we are continuing to stick together. I don't have a doubt in my mind that we will. And I couldn't be, more confident in this group and happier to be aligned with them.
Take one more question for Coach.
Coach, it's Dan Arestia. You mentioned you wanted to get your guys through some of this healthy as they come back. You did have a couple of guys, Max Adler and Chris Kluche, come back and basically immediately head to the PUP list. Do you think they're going to be guys that are going to be ready to impact for you in the next week or two, or do you expect that to be a while before you see those guys back in the lineup?
I think that Cloutier will probably be back. Adds, it depends on how quickly he can heal up. I don't want to rush somebody back that has a hamstring issue, understanding how delicate that injury is. You want to make sure you put it to bed. And the reality is Tommy Kelly's doing really, really well right now. And that gives us the ability to rest Adds until he's 100% and good to go and puts that injury behind him. Hopefully Cloutier will be ready to go in Minnesota. But look, we got the guys to win the whole thing. We do. Are we happy with an 0-4 start? We're not. But you kind of look at the way this has played out, and I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that this was, arguably day one of training camp for our offensive players. And so, we've got another opportunity to get together at practice before Minnesota. We'll watch the film, and then we'll come out, we'll play against Minnesota, and we'll be better against them, be better out there than we were this week. And we're going to continue to get better and better and better. And the target, I think, is 4 wins. That's what I think gets you into the playoffs based on the way this thing is unfolding. Maybe even 3 wins. We're going to go out and try to win every single game. But the goal is to get better, one game at a time and flush the emotion associated with it. That's it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. We have Michael Sowers attacking for the Water Dogs. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Michael, Joe Keegan here. Going against this chaos defense that's so physical, so tough, you guys were able to create a ton of quality shots, 10 looks for Ryan Brown, who is, the guy that of all of the players on the field, Cass is going to not want to slide from. What was working for you guys offensively to get those looks that you wanted?
Yeah, I think, for one, one of our strategies the last couple of weeks, our emphasis has just been, trying to get Brownie the ball. He's obviously one of the best shooters in the world, and so we just want to get him the ball as much as possible. But also I think that, a lot of people, if you look at the tape, you'll see, a lot of unselfish cuts, a lot of, off-ball screens for Brownie, and, those are the plays that go unnoticed. But I think that those just, little unselfish plays are leading to results like tonight.
Follow-up question, who would you credit for making those cuts and screens today?
I think it's a lot of those middies, but I think that, CK off the top of my head, every time he's off the ball, he's doing the right thing. And, Ethan Walker's the same way. He's just full speed cutting, draws so much attention, which opens up those skip lanes. So I'm sure if you went back and you watched, like, there's going to be a lot of those guys, but those are the two that just kind of jump off the page.
Mike, I think it was the 14th goal. You came up with your lefty and skipped it over to Brownie over there. Can you describe how difficult that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially like we had great spacing, but, similar to the last question, like when you're playing with a guy like Ryan Brown, like it makes the reads pretty simple because it's like find Brownie first. If he's open, pass on the ball. Like, if not, probably 2-3 guys are covering him in the process, and then a lot of other guys are open on the field. So I think that a lot of people's first reads is just try and find Brownie. If it's not there, all right, then who's open from that point?
And just how great did it feel to be back out there?
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Take one more question from
Hey, Michael. It's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. You've been up at the podium this season talking about how this team has layers to it. To see 10 guys get on the scoreboard tonight with points, how fun is it to see those layers kind of, unravel, and how fun is it, playing in this offense when those layers get to work and you have so many guys being able to put points on the board for you?
Yeah, I think it's a blast, and like it's exactly what you want and like what you want to play in and guys that you want to play with, just in the sense that like nobody has to score 6-7 points for this offense to click. Like, really everybody just needs to do their job and hit singles, and that was one thing that I think we preached the first week and the first couple of weeks, and for whatever reason we just didn't really put it together. But tonight, like, you see, like, guys fall into their roles and hit singles and just make the simple plays, and like good things happen. And I think we have a very role-oriented offense, and we all feel very comfortable in our roles. And I think that what's cool is, like, this is only week 4. Like, we still have a lot. We still have a long ways to go in terms of a group and chemistry-wise. And I think that's going to be one of the exciting things is we're just going to keep getting better every week.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We have Ryan Brown, attackman for the Water Dogs. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Ryan, it's Joe Keegan. Quint asked you on the broadcast, but wanted to ask you when you maybe had a little more time to elaborate and some time to catch your breath first. Going against a shooter like Blaze, you touched on varying your release points and changing planes and how he got you earlier, and then you were able to get him for 4 goals there. What goes through your head against a goalie like Blaze?
Yeah, at times Blaze could be considered the best player in the world and what he can do to change the game for that team. So when you're playing against Blaze, we kind of talked about shooting responsibly. You don't want to shoot shots that Blaze can eat up, because not only can he make saves, he can get over the top quick. And with the guys they have in Costabile and Ray and the way they push the ball, things can go the other way quickly on you for 2s. And we really wanted to stay away from that. So, again, shooting against Blaze, you really got to put a hard emphasis on how you shoot and where you're shooting. He's not a goalie that you have to treat, you can't treat him the same as everybody else. He's really got to be a priority on your game plan when you go against Chaos.
Right, this game unfolded a lot differently than this game last season at this venue. Your alma mater, how much better does it feel to kind of flip the script a little bit?
Yeah, it's great to get a win here. Obviously, starting the season 0-3 with some tough losses the past 2 weeks. At the end of the game, it was good to kind of come out in the second half, not have a 1-goal game battle. That whole here we go again kind of feeling, and kind of run away there at the end. So getting a big win, getting in the score column, and again, the score differential in this league is so important. So when you can kind of get a win by a good margin, it means that much more.
And the 14th goal, Sowers comes around, his left hand skips it to you. Just how impressive to you is kind of his feeding ability to get you those?
Yeah, playing with Michael Sowers and Kieran McCardle, it's kind of a hand-in-hand thing when you're an off-ball guy. When you know that the 2 guys that you're playing with, if you get open, they'll find you. It just makes you kind of incentivize you to work that much harder. Then I'm sure on the other side, if you know someone's working hard when you have the ball, you're going to look for them. So playing with those two guys, I think we're really starting to click, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the way.
Hey, Ryan, it's Dan Arestia. As you guys were pulling away in the second half, there were moments where it looked like the goals were coming, not to disrespect the competition, but it looked like you guys were scoring easily. When the offense is clicking as well as you guys were tonight, does it ever feel like it's coming to you guys easily out there?
Yeah, I think the tough part, in this league, everyone goes in with a game plan. The other teams, everyone's pretty familiar. So to start the game, I think they wanted to not slide at all. I know I was getting short stick kind of shut, and I think they were, they didn't want to slide and let us kind of spin the ball and get step down opportunities. And CK comes out, bangs a couple, guys are winning their matchups and scoring, which then, if you kind of get your game plan busted and you prepare one way all week and then, it kind of goes out the door in the second half. I don't know if they were ready and prepared to be like kind of sliding to us. I don't think that was their game plan. So when you have to change stuff up in this league on short notice, sometimes things don't work out well.
Take one more question for Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, Whipsnakes next week. What are the keys against them?
I think Kyle Bernlohr, again, we're running to another lefty goalie, and he's playing, if not better than anyone right now. So, you're watching him, and he makes saves that, or she's stealing goals off the board. I think the first time we played against them, obviously the face-off X was a big deal. It's nice having Zach Tucci, so we'll be able to compete there. So I think, those two spots, I think if you can do well up the middle of the field in this league, you put yourself in a really good chance to win games. Good.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, guys. We have Andy Copeland, head coach of the Water Dogs. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Andy. Joe Keegan. First quarter there, transition-wise, or like between the arcs, the blue-collar areas of the game, right? The stuff that you guys have kind of emphasized before you even drafted this team, seemed to be what set the tone. How important is it for you guys to win in those areas?
Very, and it certainly was a point of emphasis for us going into to this one. We felt like maybe that was one of the things that was lacking in our 0-3 start, was we just didn't really establish ourselves in between the arcs as much as we were hoping to. And I'm glad that it kind of felt that way today. That's kind of how we're built, so we can't veer from our just natural strengths.
Coach Connor Kelly was super assertive again tonight. He was really great last week as well in a loss, but just how important is he to keep this offensive mojo going?
Yeah, CK is the best. I think he's great in so many areas. I think he's an underrated passer. He has great footwork. He's two-handed. He just puts a lot of pressure on the defense, certainly as a stretch shooter as well. And look, when he got injured at the end of last year, he kind of had a major off-season surgery. So I just think throughout training camp and maybe early on in the year, he was still working through some of that. But he's playing, as we know he is capable of. And yeah, it's nice to have him back. He's a special one.
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Looking at tonight where things start for you and where they end for you with Tucci and with DeLuca, just talk about their performances tonight, with Zach going toe-to-toe with Tommy Kelly, who I know you have a ton of respect for, and, see how he plays this game, and to see Tucci, continue to get comfortable for you guys. And then Matt DeLuca facing, some all-world shooters out there and looking like it was an absolute, just comfortable situation for him from start to finish.
Yeah, really happy for both of those guys. Of course, Tucci is an exceptional just athlete. So I'll start there, and I really appreciate the preparation that he's put into the last couple of weeks. Just Zooms and FaceTimes with Jake Withers and other guys kind of in that face-off world. So he prepares like a consummate pro. And look, I thought he battled Farrell really well last week, and today you certainly felt his presence. He's got a chance to be a pretty special one, so we're glad that he's part of this Water Dogs organization. And then DeLuca, look, that was a decision that we made last night after practice, and frankly kept me up a little bit. Part of me is like, all right, you got Dylan Ward, who is coming off a championship performance, and gold medalist, and obviously we drafted him last year for what I continue to think is all the right reasons. And it's like, all right, are we really going to make a conscious decision to give him a little bit more rest time? But I just think we had to listen to him. We had to listen to our players. You understand that he his focus has been on kind of winning a championship with the Mammoth up until they were able to get that done. And the goalie position there, indoor to outdoor, certainly is different, and we just didn't think he had the sheer volume of kind of outdoor shots, and just felt like this week of kind of just playing him in a little bit of a different role was appropriate. And with that said, I think after practice last night, Matt also made that decision much easier, because you could just tell that he was locked in. And tonight, and then certainly if you go back a couple games against the Whips, like I think when Matt DeLuca is playing the way he's capable of, he's a pretty special one as well. So for those guys to get their first PLL win, alongside Higgins and Hannah and some other guys, it's a pretty special moment for those guys. So really pleased.
What's up, Coach? This is Tommy Birch with New Solutions. You guys had no trouble moving the ball around today. Everybody was getting shots up, and you guys are playing a pretty good defensive team in the Whip Snakes next week. And I was wondering how you're going to implement that into the game plan.
Well, we played them 2 weeks ago, so I think there's real familiarity on both sides. We unfortunately lost in overtime, and those guys are sitting at 4-0. So they're going to be in first place. They have the core of their team has like real familiarity and kind of synergy together. So it's going to be a tall task out in Mini, but sometimes a win can create a little bit of just positive mojo and a little bit of momentum. That certainly is the hope, that we can carry that forward here and hopefully get a second win before we got a couple weeks off, and it's kind of the halfway point of the year.
Take one more question for Coach.
Coach, it's Dan Arestia. As you evaluate kind of the emotions and the way you guys played today, it seemed like you played, a very complete game. Do you also consider, as you break that down, that you guys haven't played a game yet with like your fully healthy, at full strength Water Dogs roster? You haven't had the game with Withers, with Ward, with everybody on the field that maybe you thought you would have when the season started?
Yeah, we've certainly had our set of challenges, but what I really like about that locker room is, there's not one guy who's an excuse maker in there. So no one talked about it. No one made that the narrative. We just made it about, kind of keeping the standard in which this thing was built and kind of the expectations that we have for one another. So we kind of continued to stay positive. Being 0-3 certainly, was not very much fun. But I feel like they got what they earned tonight. We really put the work in this week and prepared very hard, and that was without question our most complete game of the year. But there are still things to take away and to learn and improve from, and that'll kind of be the message moving forward. But to get back to your question, I certainly am looking forward to getting everybody back healthy, because I think when that's the case, I really feel like we have a championship-worthy ball club.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys, we have Lyle Thompson, attackman for the Cannons. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Lyles, Joe Keegan. This Chrome defense was really able to buckle down in the second half. What did they do, and specifically JT Giles Harrison's first year as a pro, do to frustrate you as an offense?
I was happy with the way we were playing offense. They went on a run at the end of the game, so naturally a team that's ahead is gets a little bit too comfortable with the lead, and that sort of bit us. I felt confident and happy with the way our offense played. I think we made a lot of moves in the right direction. Happy with the guys, and mostly just a little upset with the way I finished the game. 3 sort of turnovers right in a row to take us into overtime, and then twice in overtime. So the disappointment is mostly personal, but I'm really happy with the way Nicky played, our defense played, and our offense was flowing.
Hey, Lyle, Jake Watts with the PLL here. Asher Nolting back at his, natural X-attackman position. You connected with him 3 times today to score. Can you talk about just like the connection you guys are making this game and over, how you anticipate it getting better over the course of the season?
Yeah, I mean, chemistry comes with time together, and in this league, we sort of get limited time together. We get 2 days on the weekend, getting more and more comfortable playing with Asher, and he's getting more and more comfortable playing with me. So just understanding our offense, understanding where to be, when to be, so that we can put the ball in the back of the net.
Hey, Lyle, it's Kyle Bennett. You guys get a chaos team next week in Minnesota that's searching for their first win. You guys are looking to bounce back, having not won since week 1. What are some things that you guys have to, adjust going into a matchup against a team in this league that plays a much different style than most?
Yeah, I mean, homework's going to be key. Doing some homework on the chaos, but they're still the defending champions, and any team in this league, can still win it. I don't think any team this year has shown that they're just absolutely dominating. I think the Chrome are looking like sort of the Whip Snakes in the past years, where they're pulling out these overtime wins. The Whip Snakes are the Whip Snakes, but outside of that, everybody can play at a really high level, and you can't, just because they're 0-4, you can't underestimate the chaos. They're going to come to play, and they do have a really unique style of defense, of offense, and they got blazing nets. So never underestimate those guys.
We'll take one more question for Lyle.
How's it going? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports, and you guys were feeding the ball well today. A lot of unselfish plays by the offense, and I wanted to know how it felt to have guys that are willing to get out of the way, get good spacing, so you and your teammates can make some plays.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm happy. I'm happy with our team. I'm happy with the team performance, is because we played very comfortable, and you could tell the guys are starting to get into a rhythm, and that's what you want to see. We're having fun out there. The mislaps at the end of the game, sort of the game didn't finish the way we wanted, but like I said before, a lot of really good steps in the right direction, especially on the offensive end. Our defense did their job, and they played a really good game. But we have to find a way to play 4 quarters, and we haven't done that all year.
Thanks, Lyle.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we have Asher Nolting, attackman for the Cannons. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Asher, Jake Watts here. Back at that X position, you seem a lot more natural back there. Can you talk about, the biggest difference switching from the midfield to the X position?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one, I've played it for the last 5 years, not including high school. So, I feel a lot more comfortable back there. It's a lot easier to, for me to process the game, especially with how fast it is back there. But, I think working from the midfield, it helped me a lot with my mindset today at attack, just being able to see the fields from both sides now. But yeah, no, I definitely felt more comfortable back there today.
Hey, Asher, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. You've been up here talking about how it's easy for anybody. It seems like your guys' chemistry 4 weeks into the season has been like you guys have been playing together for years. Can you talk about, how things have been, playing with Lyle as the season progressed, and how your chemistry has been able to develop through the first 4 weeks?
Yeah, no, Lyle obviously draws a ton of attention. Gives us a lot of opportunity to work off ball, find open space, and if you do a good job of that, he'll find you and you'll put it right on your stick, and it's your job to bury it. So, luckily today I was lucky enough to get open a couple times and bury some from him. But yeah, no, he does an unbelievable job of drawing that attention and kind of being the fire starter for our offense.
Asher, next week, matchup with Rainy James Chaos. What are the keys to that game?
I think we showed some flashes today, offensively, defensively. We just got to learn how to finish a game, and with our young guys like me, Bubba, the younger guys on the team, with the mix of the older guys, we just got to learn how to finish a game. Once we do that, if we play our game, I think that I don't think anyone can really beat us if we're really playing at our best. So, just try to take another step forward next week. Hopefully we can get to that spot, and hopefully we come out with a win going into the bye weeks and All-Star break.
Take one more question for Asher. Thanks, Asher.
Hey, Coach, Jake Watts here with the PLL. Besides that last 10 minutes of the game, I thought your defense looked the best it looked since probably one of the first games of last season. You were on pace to hold them under 10 goals, had a couple new personnel out there, Bell with the long pole. What did you see from most of the game?
Yeah, I thought up until the half, we were really composed on offense. We were taking care of the ball, we were sharing it really well, and defensively, just the communication, the slides that we were making were really timely. They played a great first half. I thought we came out in the second half, played very similar, and there's a lot of plays throughout the game, right? And they just made one more than us tonight, but our guys played their hearts out, they grinded. I couldn't be more proud of this group. They've been resilient, coming off a big loss last week, and these guys came together and battled to an overtime loss.
Hey, Coach, Joe Keegan. Obviously, with no timeouts in overtime in this league, that overtime period specifically today's was so frantic and up and down. Like, what's the message, and how do you prepare your guys for a period like that where there's just not that opportunity to reset?
Yeah, starting with the face-off in overtime, both teams were getting after it. It was a big-time scrum in there. And then, we just constantly tell our guys, and they constantly tell each other to stay composed, stay resilient, even in those frantic moments. And it was back and forth both ways. We had a couple opportunities on offense, and the Chrome made some good plays defensively and obviously stuck that last goal. But again, proud of our guys, the way that they competed tonight.
Hey, Coach, Carl Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. A lot of new faces again in the lineup this week, from Adam to Bubba, to having Matt Abbott on this squad now. Can you just talk about, them being mixed into the swing of things where you see them kind of sliding in?
Yeah, we've made some changes from last week's roster to this week, and I think, those guys who did step into different roles today, Matt Abbott played excellent in his first game with us. Adam Charlambides at attack, had a nice goal and played super composed out there, played within the offense that Sean Kerwin's putting in. Bubba Fairman, he had a huge ground ball in that fourth quarter off a face-off, which led to a broken play, and then we scored on a goal there. Matt Rahill, did a really nice job on his former teammate today. So those guys are all fitting in well with, the personnel and the culture of our team. And the thing that I've loved about this team, said it last year and certainly this year, is there's really no egos, in that locker room. You tell one guy he's going to get the ball and you got 5 other guys supporting him. And same thing on the defensive end. We don't have one general out there. It's 6 guys in Morocco right now in the cage that are just playing as a unit. There's really no other group that I'd want to coach. These guys are stellar men and certainly great players.
Take one more question for Coach.
What's up, Coach? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports. I just wanted to talk about, you probably hear this every week, Nick having a great game in goal, holding off for the last quarter and helping you guys in overtime, keep it together, even on a man down. How does it feel to have one of those guys in your locker room and helping out with you?
You were breaking up there. Can you repeat the question?
My bad. Nick having a great game, fourth quarter, holding it off, getting you guys to overtime. What's it like having a guy like him in net and helping in defense?
Yeah, he's the 5 years that he's played professionally for me, he's just ultra competitive, obviously, like all these guys. You know what you're going to get out of Nick Morocco. He's super, super consistent in the cage. He's going to make some big saves that he has no business making. But again, couldn't be more proud of that defensive unit. They let Nick see the ball well today. And personally, I don't think he gave up any goals that he really should have had. They earned those goals today that they scored, and again, made some big stops for us when we really needed them in there.
Thanks, Coach.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We have Connor Farrell, face-off man for the Chrome. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Connor. It's Joe Keegan with the PLL. Trailing by 6, going on that run. Did you feel pressure at the stripe to deliver the faceoffs that allow this offense to go on a run and score so many consecutive goals, or do you like being in that situation?
I don't really feel much pressure just because that's my job. I got to make sure I win the ball for the offense to get them their goals. So my job is just get them the ball. So I don't really feel much pressure. I like being in those situations where the lights are shining on you and you really hit the show out. That's where I feel like I play my best.
Hey, Connor. Kenny D. John, USA Lacrosse Magazine. Kind of a little speculative, but do Chrome teams of old before this season win these type of games? Is this something that those Chrome teams had in them to do?
Yeah, I think we would have been able to do that. I just don't think we capitalized on those opportunities. We got a great group right now. I love every single one of them. I smile ear to ear right now, just after every single game with them.
Connor, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. When did you guys feel, on the sideline and on the field, when did you feel like the switch was flipped and, the energy kind of, zapped into you guys to go on that run that you made to close out this game, in the fashion that you did?
Throughout the whole game, I knew that we would be able to still fight it out and still come back for that win. I never had any down on the guys because this game's a fast game. You need very little time to come back. So I always had confidence in the boys.
Connor, after that dog pile, I was filming and you start screaming like a bunch of times and you go, "I effing love this team." Could you kind of just speak on that?
I don't remember that. I blacked out when I was celebrating. I get so excited. I love winning. I hate losing more than I like winning, though. So I just love this team. Every single one of them. I'll do anything for them. I'll die for them. I just love this group.
We'll take one more question for Connor.
Yeah, Connor, next week you got Atlas going against Trevor Baptiste. What are the keys in that matchup?
He's one of the best in the world, so I'm excited for the matchup. It's always great going against him. He's a great athlete. He's playing really well this season, and I'm excited to see how I do against him.
Thanks, Connor. All right, guys, we have Mike Messenger, a midfielder for the Chrome. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Mike. Jake Watts here with the PLL. Great game, man. You showed a lot of your offensive chops today. They've been primarily running at you at short stick D mid. How do you balance playing the short stick D mid position, but bringing that offensive power to this team?
When I'm out there, I just do whatever coaches kind of want me to do. I'm happy to be out there, play with these guys, a bunch of hardworking guys, and the most important thing is when we win as a team. So whatever I can do to help, I'll do.
Hey, Mike, Joe Keegan with the PLL. This Chrome culture is so established and really led by McIntosh, Ranigan, and Coach Sudan. What has it been like joining this group? Now, I would say first impressions, but we're about a month into this.
It's an honor to play with these guys. I've never played with a group that's this hardworking, and it definitely showed off there in the fourth quarter. No one gave up. The whole team, we pushed each other, pushed ourselves. Didn't give up, and got those hard loose balls. Farrell was amazing at X. Scanoni in the goal. Our defense was standing up and pushing the ball forward. Our offense was moving the ball quite nice, and just started to add up one after another, and we came out on top, which is nice.
Take one more question for Mike.
Mike, that last the game-winning goal was a fast break, shot wide, and then off the restart, you found yourself open. The broadcast maybe didn't catch all of it. So can you just like walk through like from that turnover and push in transition, what went through your head?
Yeah, coach made a good call. It's when we get a chance there at that time on the clock, just to try to get a double, and I was happy to be on the field when it happened. Pushed the ball, and Malloy had a good shot, just happened to miss, and Nick turned was quick, got the ball, turned around, and I just kind of looked around, and no one was around me, so called for the ball, and Brennan threw me the ball right away, which was nice, and just kind of finished it.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We have Tim Suden, head coach at the Chrome. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Coach, Joe Keegan with the PLL. That huge run to close that game. What was really the driver? Who was the voice? And who was like driving the energy bus to lead you guys in that comeback?
Well, I think as we started scoring, I think Ando started it up, right? I think Anderson had a goal, and we just started moving the ball a lot better. And then Connor Farrell winning face-off after face-off down the stretch was huge for us. So, it was not surprising because we came back last week, but it was really good to see the resilience that our guys had today, making as many mistakes as we made during the day. So, kudos to them, and I think collectively our defensive midfielders ended up with like 6 of our goals. So that's a kind of a sign of a great team when you can win when you're not playing your best. So I think that's kind of happened the last 2 games. So.
Hey, Coach, Jake Watts here with the PLL. Mike Messenger got you guys started with that 6-0 run. First knocking over Asher Nolting, then got the crease dive, and then getting the cause turnover, and then getting the game winner. Is this the type of play you expected when you signed him this season? And let's talk about the energy he brings to this team a little bit.
Yeah, he brings a much different kind of approach to playing. He's kind of playing out of position. He's an offensive guy, so I'm not surprised. We were actually planning on playing him some offense today, and it kind of paid off. Him down there, he made 2 incredible plays offensively. The game winner and that diving goal was awesome. I kind of just turned and saw him, flying through the air, and I wasn't surprised. When his name came up, I watched a lot of the indoor games of his, and I was pretty impressed. So, we play him as a D-midi, but he played offensive midfield in college, and he faces off, and that's kind of one of the reasons we picked him up, because he faces off all the time, and we thought we could use him kind of as a utility guy, and it's been paying off. He does a great job.
Hey, Coach, Kyle Bennett. At halftime, Jesse gave that locker room speech that the league put out on Twitter, talking about how you guys in the first half kind of playing, dumb lacrosse. What are some things that you guys, adjustment-wise at halftime said to, make things a little bit smarter and play a little more, locked in to go on that run at the end and finish this game off the way you guys did?
I think that gave us a lot of energy. I think the guys got hyped after that. I was more kind of hey, I don't have to come in here and yell at you guys because you guys know you're not playing well. And then Jesse just exploded. And I think it gave us a lot of energy. I think we went back out there and had some really good possessions offensively that didn't really amount to much. But you saw us winning some more ground balls. You saw us. We played lockdown defense in the second half, and they, for the most part, we played really good defense in the first half as well. And I told Sean Scanone, I was like, hey, you made just enough saves today. That's perfect.
We'll take one more question for Coach.
How's it going? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports. And I just want to talk about, Mike had that diving goal, but throughout the whole game, you guys were real physical and we're gritty. And I wanted to know how that mentality helps the team.
Well, I think it's kind of the makeup of this team. I don't think we have we have guys that are willing to work and care about each other. You see what Mike Manley did in this game and in his role, kind of quietly doing what he did. And we had to step up, but that's kind of how we pick guys, right? We want gritty guys that are unselfish and that play for each other. And the culture of the team is really, really good. And, I think it pays off in games like this where we just don't, completely fold. So I'm proud of the guys because they hung in there. We were talking, even at the first quarter is like, hey, it's going to turn itself around. Let's just keep playing, try to get some multiple dodge offensive sets and get the ball moving. But yeah, I think the whole group as a whole is really tough. And Tarafanko, I think, played his ass off. Will Haas played his ass off. And it was just really impressive to see 6 goals coming from that rope unit.
All right, guys, we have Marcus Holman, attackman for the Archers. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Marcus, Joe Keegan. Tough after a loss and immediately after the game to contextualize it, but today you moved into 10th all-time in career points. What does that mean to you to be mentioned alongside Will and alongside some other greats who have been playing this game for a long time?
Yeah, pretty cool. I guess I just want to talk about the game first quickly. Like, obviously, playing here in Baltimore, I grew up a couple miles down the road. We had I feel like a pro Archers crowd out, and unfortunately couldn't get the win. Atlas is a good team. They played really well, and we've got to find ways to win these 1-goal games. Dating back to last year, I'm not sure what it is specifically, but we've just got to find a way to take that next step as a team and move forward in these close 1-goal games. So I thought our effort was great. I mean, that's kind of a staple of Archer lacrosse. We play hard, we play together, but I don't think it was our cleanest game. And you've got to be sharp against a really good team like Atlas. So we'll work on it, we'll build, and we'll try to get better. But the points thing is cool, man. I think growing up as a kid, like, I wanted to be a pro lacrosse player, and I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by incredible teammates. I sat outside, like, I could make 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of guys that have impacted my professional career, and just fortunate to be able to play this game that I love at a really high level. I'm humbled to be out there on the same field with, other superstars, and still trying to get better, and I didn't have my best night tonight personally. So just going to try and get better and keep working and, keep trying to grab some wins along the way.
Hey, Marcus, Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Next week, you guys get the Redwoods, who are, hungry to get, more wins in their win column. What matchups does that defense present to you guys, the way you play offense, to go into that, with the physicality they present, whether it's Apple, Arden Cohen, Eddie Glaser? What are some things you guys got to prepare for when it comes to that Redwoods defense?
Yeah, certainly, a team that, they've got the names on paper, and, they have guys that have won before, and, they're going to be hungry for a win. Like, I don't think the season has gone the way they probably wanted it to, and, knowing Coach Nat, he's going to stay hungry and grind. And, we're kind of in the same boat here at 2-2. I think it's a big game for both teams to get some momentum going into All-Star break. We've got to reflect. We've got to watch this Atlas film because I thought they defended us pretty well, and it wasn't our cleanest game. So, we're just trying to get better. We'll watch the film. We'll kind of dissect ourselves first, and then we'll look for some ways to attack the Redwoods. But I think they've got a solid group down there. Whether it's their short sticks, Jack Neer's an incredible short stick, and Epple is a force in the middle there, and they play well, they play cohesive. So going to be a tough task. and I think we just got to get better.
Marcus, before you do dive into that film, what was the biggest difference between putting up 20 last week and tonight's performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like I thought maybe after the first quarter we were on track for 20 again. I think we had 5 in the first quarter, and just the flow of the game. I felt like we maybe at times just didn't play team offense the way we would like to. I thought maybe we didn't dodge, pass, dodge again the way that we would have liked to. And I thought they've got a hungry defense. I think they've got shorties that are aggressive. I thought Craig Chick did a good job, just knocking down some passes, and we didn't play our cleanest game. They kind of took us out of a rhythm a little bit by pressing us out. So we have to adjust to that. I think they did a good job, and then personally, I thought our defense played really, really well for the amount of possessions they had to defend. So we've got to kind of counterbalance our defense, help them out a little bit. I didn't think we were good in transition again tonight. Like we've just kind of been sloppy in transition, myself included. So just some areas to clean up. Good at times, but not good enough, obviously, to win.
Take one more question from Marcus.
How's it going? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports, and the offense. You're getting up shots today, but not a lot of assisted shots. What do you guys need to do to get the ball around a little more?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of maybe the blueprint for how you defend the Archers, right? Is like kind of shut off Holman and Manny, and guard Tom, and he's certainly, we have great cohesion, us three. Tom is an incredible feeder. We just got to find ways to counter it. I thought Matt Moore was really good tonight attacking his matchups. But they put a shorty on me. They did a good job defending me when I was going to dodge, and I thought we maybe felt a little rushed at times just because of kind of the possession differential, and just wasn't our cleanest game. So, but again, it's 2-2. We've been a little up and down this season, which is okay. It's part of the journey here. And we've got a big one ahead of us going into Minnesota next week.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We have Matt Moore, attackman for the Archers. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Matt, Joe Keegan. You got the last shot there. What did you see from the Atlas defense, and what have your veteran teammates done to instill the confidence in you to take that final shot?
Yeah, I think right towards the end, kind of the whole game, they're kind of pressing out on adjacents, and I know we were at low clock. Try to get Tom the ball there, and they were locking Tom off. And it's just being around Marcus and Will and Ratcliffe, and those guys just they're giving me confidence. They're giving all the rookies confidence. With Ogevin, Diso, all them. We're a part of this team as much as anyone else. I know it's our first year, but they really treat us like we're vets out there, because a lot of them are. And yeah, the last play, they're pressing adjacents, and I know they trusted their poles up top, so tried to make a move. Didn't work out my way. But looking back and watch the film and kind of see what we could have done there, I know there was more time on the clock than I thought. So I got to get that lacrosse IQ up there, and kind of realize the situational games. But I think we haven't been in these one-goal games. It's good to get comfortable in these with the nerves and the atmosphere here. So I think we're going to learn from this. This is our second one-goal game, so we're definitely hungry for next week.
Hey, Matt, Kyle Bennett. Will Manny, coach, they've talked over the past couple of weeks of you just gaining confidence and being comfortable running out of the box. This is 3 straight games for you now with a hat trick. Can you just take me through, that comfortability factor for you playing, in that style and being able to, create out of the box and put those goals in the back of the net?
Yeah, I think something different from college than in the professional game is just how quick it is to get a shorty matchup. And we found that being at attack, it's harder to get those switches in 30 seconds when we clear the ball. So I kind of just like I try to emulate Ryan Ambler's game, where he runs on the field, he sprints on just like Tom, and just runs as fast as he can down the alley or over the top to draw a slide and move it forward. And if they don't slide, shoot the ball, and if they do, throw it forward. I know a couple times today they weren't sliding, but then other times they were, where I missed some reads there, and I think a lot of us did that today, but it's something we're going to work on. Just the midfielder's job is to run down the alley and draw a slide and give it to the attackman, because Will Manny, all he needs is 6 inches of space for him to get a shot off. So our job is just draw a slide and get those guys open.
I think one more question for Matt.
Matt, without Grant, just a lot of the initiation is on your shoulders. Just how have you been? Just how well you've produced?
Yeah, it's definitely fun to get comfortable within this team, and you're not replacing Grant. I mean, he is one of the best players I've ever played with. Just his vision, his leadership, and obviously we do miss him. But I think when he gets back, I think it's going to be great that we're all buttoned up behind him. So it's an easy job for him to just be implemented right back into the offense. So I think it's going to be good that we're not going to lean so much on Grant. I know he does so much for this team, on and off the field. So when he gets back, I know that we're gonna be touched up. We're gonna be ready off ball for whatever he does, whatever feeds he makes. So we're looking forward to getting him back. Thank you.
All right, guys, we have Chris Bates, head coach of the Archers. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Coach Bates, Joe Keegan with the PLL. That last play there out of the timeout, what was the play, and what did you see from the Atlas defense to disrupt that?
Well, they did a nice job really all game of pressing out and getting us a little uncomfortable. We got essentially what we wanted. We got a shot off. Had a turnover late that hurt us. We put ourselves in a position not playing particularly well to tie it at the end. So, as frustrated as we are with the loss, we kind of hold our heads high because we didn't play well. But, on that last one specifically, we're trying to get Tom a look, just from the opposite side of where we did the play before. They did a nice job. We got shot off and backed it up, and ultimately we turned it over, they turned it over, and then, we got another shot and didn't back it up.
How's it going, Coach? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports. Had a little bit of trouble connecting on passes today. Kind of came into fruition at the end there. What do you think needs to change for next week, and what are you guys going to work on?
I mean, I'll give the Atlas credit for their defensive, adjustments that they made. We were sloppy. Second quarter, we felt like we had 3 possessions. We just couldn't get ourselves into much of a rhythm. And uncharacteristically, we threw a couple balls away, and against a team when we're not facing off particularly well, right? I mean, it's just we don't see it for a while, so there was not a lot of flow for us offensively. We're okay. We got a good group, and we'll bounce back.
Coach,
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle Bennett.
We'll get you. Excuse me. You're up.
Hey, Coach. Silver linings in losses to look at Matt Moore 3 straight weeks with a hat trick. Can you just talk about, how he's been able to kind of just find his niche in this offense and really find a groove, playing around the guys that have been here, and then how you guys have been able to utilize them to, capitalize on his strengths?
No, I think having him settle in, coming from the box has found a home, right? He it goes both ways. He's played aggressively. If they want to poll him, we showed first possession that he's not going to back down from it. So we got a lot of faith in him. He's playing loose, and like any rook wants a couple plays back tonight, but he's playing with confidence. Our guys trust him, and we want to continue to build on it. So we're excited. It's been a great start for him.
Coach, how impressed were you just stay, one possession game the entirety of the game, just with with Baptiste tilting the field as much as he did?
Half field defensively, we did a great job. We really did. If you look at the goals we gave up, they were not really half field, right? Dirth had one, Trevor had one. They created in transition. So I thought, from the standpoint of a 6-on-6, we did a nice job. We gave up 10 goals, and I don't know what the face-off stats were, but they weren't great, obviously. So I give Coach Resch and our defense. I thought Kitts did a nice job. And we talked all week about being in a one-goal game, and we had our chances, not having played well, not winning a lot of face-offs. So, we're going to hold our head high and still, believe that we're right on the path we want to be.
Take one more question for Coach.
Coach, Redwoods next week. What are the keys to that matchup?
We want to get ourselves in a flow offensively. I think they're unique just in terms of the matchups that they present. Right? I mean, some just big bodies up top. Our shorties have done a nice job throughout, right? I mean, I thought, Jeff Trainer and Ryan Ogilvin, are kind of rooks down there in some regard and held up. Latrell did a nice job tonight. So, moving forward, we got to put bodies on bodies. We've got to prevent transition, right? If we look back, we gave up too much of that. Those guys get up and out, like most teams in this league. So if we can get it into more of a half-field game for us, and that's what we didn't do tonight. We turned it over a few times for us in transition, and again, that hurt us. So, moving forward, we just, it'll be a tough film, but this group is dialed in to be critical of themselves and look at next steps, and, we hold the bar high, and we're excited to get back after it, frankly.
Thanks, Coach.
Good.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Text me when he's ready to go back.
You haven't made it to the locker room yet. Have you made it to the locker room? Yeah. Oh. Did we already meet? Yeah. How'd it go? It's great. That's good. Sorry.
All right, guys. We have Jeff T. Attacker for the Atlas. We'll open up for questions.
Hey Jeff, it's Joe Keegan with the PLL. Last week you sat up here and said that you were a passenger, that you need to do more for this offense. Today, 10 shots, 3 goals. You did do more individually and as an offense as a whole. What was the plan to get you more involved and take advantage out there?
I think just kind of the mindset going forward from last week is just be more aggressive. Try not to be too stagnant off ball. With the ball, all that kind of stuff, and even stuff. I still think I had a whole bunch of turnovers. But being aggressive was definitely the mindset.
Hey Jeff, it's Kyle Bennett. Last week the Whip Snake defense really got put you guys in a box and were able to kind of figure out how to shut you guys down offensively. What were some things you guys looked at in film this week going up against an Archers defense that, big, physical, strong guys like Graham Hosnick, Matt McMahon, that you guys were able to, take away from that matchup and really exploit tonight?
Yeah, I think we kind of focused on, playing together, playing unselfish, kind of getting back to our roots, and then at the same time, it was just, not hesitating. Every time you get the chance to shoot it in a good spot, let it go, get the chance to make the one more, push in transition, then do that, and I think that's kind of what we, try to focus on a little bit from that last game, and then small adjustments each week.
Jeff, can you explain how you can keep it so casual with your game overall, but especially with the highlight real plays like your ready one-hander?
Yeah, I guess sometimes I put myself in a crappy spot, and the only way out of it is to kind of do something creative. So that's kind of what happened on that play. But other than that, just kind of playing with the flow. Feeding off teammates and just having fun out there.
We'll take one more question for Jeff.
Sweet. Jeff, next week going against Chrome, they're 4-0. What are the keys to that game?
Obviously, after this game, flip the page and focus on them. They're playing well. They're a great team so far, and I think kind of keys for us is to continue to work on ourselves. Obviously watch some film and learn from this game, and then flip the page and start focusing on next week. And then at the same time, small improvements each week, and still looking to play our best lacrosse.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, guys, we have Trevor Baptiste, face-off man for the Atlas. We'll open it up for questions.
Hey, Trevor, it's Joe Keegan. Greg Renly has set the record in 2015, his MVP season, winning 73.3% of face-offs in a year. Right now, you're facing off at a higher clip than that. Still 6 games left, but how much, how meaningful would that be to set that record?
Yeah, it'd be great. Especially somebody like Greg. He's done so much for the game. He's been such a dominant face-off guy for his whole career. But we got a lot of season left, So I'm just taking it one game at a time.
Hey, Trevor, it's Kyle Bennett. First thing I got to ask you, did you transfer any of your speed over to Peter Durst for him to run down the field the way he did and put that ball in the back of the net?
I think he gave me a little bit of speed today, watching him run down the field like that, man. No, Durst's great, and we got a lot of athleticism on this team, especially from our rope unit. So it's great. Happy you buried that.
And then, you get a matchup with Connor Farrell next week. Both of you guys, big physical guys. What are you most looking forward to facing off against him, against the 4-0 Chrome team as well?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenge. I think I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we all are excited for the challenge. And Farrell's been playing great, so it's going to be a great battle.
Hey, Trev, this is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports, and not even just with Connor, but the Chrome defense is pretty scrappy and physical. And I wanted to know what you guys are going to be focusing on this week for executing against that good defense.
Yeah, Chrome's a really talented team, especially defensively. I think we're just gonna focus on playing our game. I think when we play together and we have fun when we're playing, and when we have fun through adversity, which is gonna come with the Chrome team, that's when we play our best, and that's really a championship team. So we have a challenge next week, and we're excited.
Take one more question for Trevor. Thanks, Trevor.
Appreciate you.
Let's go. All right, guys. We have Ben Rubior, head coach of the Atlas. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Ben. It's Joe Keegan. Much more assertive game from Jeff T today. What was the plan to get him more involved in the offense?
I think Jeff took it upon himself. I think he's a competitor. We need Jeff shooting more than 2 times like he did last week, and it was good to see him get some more touches. We need to do that. He's a very good player.
Coach, go ahead, Lauren.
Okay, thanks. Hey, Coach, Lauren Marola with the PLL. What was the message to the team during the timeout with 4 minutes to go left of play?
The message to the team was I remember it as I feel like a minute and 50 seconds or so on the clock. It was to attack with about 20 seconds on the clock. I thought it was a decent look. We kind of fumbled it in the middle. They went down. We got that first stop, obviously, then turned it over going back towards our goal. I thought it was a huge save by Kincannon there at the end, and a great stand. They got, I feel like I saw Schreiber dodge on that possession and more, and those 2 guys are about as good a dodgers as there are. And it was nice to get a stop and to get a really quality win. That's a tough team. Obviously, look at the stats, look at the standings, look at the players. Seeing them in person, they're an extremely good team, and I'm proud of our guys for the way they fought.
Hey, Coach. Last week, after the game against Whitstake, you had talked about how you guys as a coaching staff felt you didn't substitute the way that you guys wanted to. What are some of the adjustments you made this week? And then as you saw the game unfold, how do you feel like you guys did in the substitution game to walk away with a win?
I thought we did better in the sub game. We certainly had an offsides, which cost us. We had 1 or 2 where I feel like we were a little late, but it was an improvement over last week. And look, against these teams, some teams are extremely good at subbing, and you better be on. Feel like Schreiber took a dodge where we weren't kind of settled in, so it'll continue to be an area of focus for us. We want to get in and play defense when we have a chance, and we can't have unforced errors like we had last week. So made some incremental steps, but it's something we got to continue to work on, and starts with the coaching staff and being on top of it.
How's it going, Coach? This is Tommy Birch with Nuke Sports. And, the defense really stepped it up today against the Archers, got in the passing lanes a lot. And I just wanted to know how you thought about their play today.
I thought our guys battled. A credit, because as we all know, I mean, that's a team that put up 20 points last week, and that's not easy to do in a 48-minute game. So they have some extremely good players. I think it starts in cage with us, and I thought Jack Kincannon played great. I haven't seen the stats, but I'm sure he had a bunch of saves. I thought we asked our shorties to do a lot. I know we brought a short stick down low and double pulled a little bit for that game. That's no easy task. And at the very end there, I thought we really battled in the possession. And look, to hold that team to 9 goals is an accomplishment, and things aren't going to get easier. So we got to continue to use that and hopefully take some more steps forward. But I'm proud of those guys, and it was no easy task, and certainly isn't going to be an easy task next week against an undefeated Chrome team.
Coach, with Trevor tilting the field as much as he did and a couple new pieces in the lineup, just how do you assess the overall offense today? Just 10 goals after 6 last week.
Yeah, when Trevor's winning that many faceoffs, I certainly would like to score some more goals. Look, I got to look at the film. I don't think my last 2 weeks have been our best offensive game plans. So I would like to have a better game plan going into this next game. Certainly, I thought both teams got off to a really hot start, and the game really was different for the next 3 quarters. So, look, I need to make better adjustments on the offensive end, and we got to have a better game plan going in. And, I don't think we can rely on our defense to hold teams to 9 goals each week. So we better score some more. But it certainly is helpful when Trevor's performing like that, and what a competitor and what a great game he played.
We'll take one more question for Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Can I take this?
Yeah.